Welcome back, Night Owls, to episode 5 of the Tales at Twilight. Last time, the party got to meet with Willow, a dear folk that was gifted with sight, who told the party that they were able to speak or hear from a female voice that guided them without conflict out of the bandit fortress into these ruins and had a purpose for them. They told you about where the bandit fortress was, a couple things like knowing that the leader of the bandits was there, the matriarch, but they never saw her, and that you had everything you needed to get inside, and that a large force of bandits was dispatched, so it should be a little bit easier for you guys to get inside if you chose to do so. You're on a limited time frame to do so, from what they said. You're still within that cutoff, so you guys made your way out of the forest after seeing a monument and running into a spirit that dwelled at this old ruined temple. You saw the image of a unicorn and some sort of humanoid-shaped creature. And after Q prayed to Titan, Titan was able to gift a little bit of knowledge to Q and help translate a little bit of what this spirit was saying. It was saying, "World reborn, gods all but faded away, but I, Mieliki, endure for a short time longer. Remember us." And as Q remembered and thought of this entity, it grew brighter and more corporeal. And you left the forest unhindered, but were quickly greeted by Leela, the messenger squirrel folk from Brackenmill, who gave Q a letter that was delivered by Scout, the child from the first encounter with the bandits that you guys had on this show. And it was a letter threatening Q. And it read, "To the one who thinks the shadows are blind, shrouded in twilight, you thought yourself unseen. How little you know of the webs the vixen has spun. Every whisper, every footstep, every scheme does not escape us. The hunt has begun. In Alderheart, Evelyn treads unaware. Echoes of vengeance draw ever near. Soon she will know what you have done. Signed, S." Which was a tell, for you guys at least, that the person that's kind of organizing intel is Scout, signed S, just like the first letter that you guys found that Leela gave you. And the cryptographic knowledge of it, the first letter of each line says she dies in that letter. So after Q read that, he crumpled up the letter and stormed out, heading towards the bandits. And tracking them, you ran into some sort of shadow-formed fox being that resembled the god Kryn. And after defeating this shadow beast in the little bit of forest you had to re-enter to follow the bandits, a lone gray feather fell to the ground with a single hair connected to it that emanated a little bit of light of radiant yellow. And that is where we ended last session. And for the viewers, all of our players leveled up to level 4 and got a couple different things. Got some more HP. Got some tough features that gives them more HP. We'll get into it as we need to. We jump back into the episode, and as the mist dissipates from this fox-like creature that resembles the god, the only truly evil god, Kryn, disappears. A lone stem of a feather falls at the tree that it was hid into by Penny, and a single hair with golden light emanating from it as Q stands over it. What do you do?
I'm going to pick it up.
Are you going to pick it up?
I'm going to pick it up.
Okay. As you pick it up, you do feel that radiant connection that you did with the spirit and adjacent to the magic that you do feel as you conjure radiance from your god.
I'm kind of looking to see, so there's a golden strand attached to this feather?
It looks like a single hair. Instead of like a full feather, it's just a single one.
A single part. I think Q is focused in on that single part of the feather that still holds some of that color, that light Is that where the radiance is coming from, or just generally the feather?
Yes, and you rolled a little bit of religion last session, and all of you know, regardless of your backgrounds, that the goddess Ardea holds 2 golden feathers, and they are of divine nature. And the reason that the god Kren, the fox god, became divine was because it was looking over one of the feathers that Ardea left unattended, and it ended up stealing it and consumed its divinity and became a god. So that is why Kren exists, and this is almost it's not the true feather of what should be the golden feather of Ardea, but it is some sort of mimicry, a shadowy one. So there is a little bit of power here, but it is not as potent, hence the 1 strand of hair.
While Q is inspecting the feather, Thistlefoot goes up to the poor traveler that way before us to check the travel over and just to check to see if there's any identification on them, who they were or where they were going.
They are wearing the crest of the Vixen Coalition, so that fox emblem that we've talked about before.
Dan?
No, it's not. It's not Dan and Stan. They're already dead. Fran is. It's not Fran. No.
Maybe it's Crayon.
Crayon? It's like people that say crayon, but they say crayon. No, it is not. But it is a hawk folk. Their like I said last time, their throat is ripped out, and their stomach as well is carved out by the same entity that you have just defeated.
All right.
And you do see the rest of the steps hurriedly and deeply in the dirt going northeast towards the mountains where you were told that the fortress was.
And seeing that this is part of the Fox Coalition, part of the bandits, Thistlefoot still gives a small little vow for peace and death, and then checks through the body for anything that might have been on this hawk folk.
As you look through its bag, you are able to collect 23 gold, so you can add that to your inventory or split it as you want. You also find a short bow and a bundle of arrows, which contains about 20 arrows.
Ooh.
I don't know if any of you guys do that or not.
Fun fact. So that actually kind of works out, because when I also leveled up.
Oh, did you take a mastery in it?
I did.
Hey.
The short bow.
Cool. Well, that works out. I didn't know that. Cool.
That was.
I planned it.
Well, Thistlefoot, seeing that Penny is super excited about a bow, hands her the bow, and then he splits up the gold between us. So whatever 23 is 3 ways.
You also do see inside of its bag, you do see a picture. And on this picture, you do find that it looks to be some sort of family portrait that contains the image of what used to be this hawkfolk, a potential partner and child.
Thistlefoot looks at the picture, gives a sad little smile, even though now he knows this is Bandit that still had someone that he cared about, that they cared about, and puts the picture back on his body and gives it, or on their body, and gives a little pat and goes over to Q.
Do you find anything?
Thistlefoot just gives Q 7 gold.
Sweet.
Hey, nice.
Goes over to Penny, gives her the short bow because he saw her excited face with it, along with 7 gold.
And you can, with arrows, we're not keeping count.
Yeah, thank goodness.
The fact that magic people don't have to keep track of their stuff, they can just infinitely use, is really dumb. Mm-hmm. So you can have as many arrows as you want. Yeah. The only ones we'll keep track of are like magic ones that do like like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because magic users just have to reach into a pouch to use all these components infinitely. So dumb. Mm-hmm. Fight me. Send me an email. I won't read it.
I'll read it.
Send your
I read the
complaints.
emails. I don't care about them, but I read them anyway.
What did you find?
I found a feather, but I don't think it's real. Or at least, I don't think it's what it was supposed to be. Q will hold the feather up for Thistlefoot. It has one golden strand, and the rest is shadows and faded, dark and gray. It reminds me of the stories of Ardea and the precious 2 feathers that she held. But this isn't enough. It's not whole. I sense some sort of divine power from it. I'm not sure what it does, but I'm going to bring it with us. Maybe we'll use it.
I don't want to tell you what to do with it, but you do feel like there's almost like a wishing factor of how it feels like you can call upon whatever divinity is in it and ask it for something. Similarly to the actual feather, since you've divined that it's not the same, it's not going to be as strong, and there may be a drawback to it if you decide to use it. But it does have power. Think of it as, for mechanical terms, as a wish spell, but on a small scale. It will not affect the world as a whole like the wish spell would if you tried to do that, but can achieve similar things. Like, you can't change the world state, but you could affect you or a party member or ask for something. And even if you ask for something big, I guess I will figure out a way to downscale it, but you know there is a cost. This is not the same. It's a mimicry for a reason. There's going to be a drawback to it.
It's a mimic.
It is more like a genie spell than a wish.
Okay. Knowing the story of Ardea and what these feathers, when whole, can provide, I think it's best that you hold on to it, Thistlefoot. And he gives the feather to Thistlefoot.
I'll honor your wish. And Thistlefoot takes it and puts it into his pack. Thistlefoot puts the feather into his pack. Got a letter, and it seemed to upset you. I don't want to upset you anymore, but I'm
They're
curious.
going after somebody that I love. The bandits. Somebody very important. And I will not let them.
Well, we're right behind you.
Your quest is my quest.
Thank you.
And then Thistlefoot heads off and follows the tracks.
Thistlefoot, hold on. Neither of us, the 3 of us, can take on this fortress in our state. We need to rest.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think it's best that we take a moment. Let's create a fire. Let's rest for the night.
Okay.
Fine.
I think if we push forward, we're dooming ourselves. So Q will start to light a fire.
I'll start getting tents ready.
Thistlefoot gathers some water and makes us coffee. And,
Always coffee.
yeah, and
It's like
also
for you.
yeah,
No rest.
also takes position on the outer edge of the fire. He also pulls out a little pan flute and just softly begins to play a little melody that almost mimics the sound of the blowing wind through the trees.
I'm looking around the campsite for small creatures, bugs, squirrels, non-bird folk birds,
Right.
non-sentient birds.
Yeah.
What do I see? Do I see anything nearby?
You at first don't see anything, but after a little while, you guys seem to repel the mist unnaturally. But you do see a couple of woodland creatures that are taking rest here in the safety of your presence in this mist. A squirrel, a squirrel is in the branches up above you guys.
Via the forest magic feat is going to communicate with the squirrel via animal messenger. That will allow me to, let me pull it up and I'll read it, because it's kind of
Gonna be all like
kind of wordy.
Kronk from Emperor's New Groove.
squeaking.
A squirrel is a tiny beast. It's specifically, it lists squirrel in the spell, so I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna specify a location which I must have visited, and a recipient who matches a general description. Speak a message of up to 25 words to the squirrel, which will then travel for the duration of the spell, which is 24 hours. to the specified location. It covers about, for a land animal, 25 miles in 24 hours.
That's why you were
That's why I
asking
asked.
me outside of the
So,
game. Okay.
Yep. So
Okay,
that's
and-
why I was curious, because I didn't know how long it was going to take and how far it was.
Sure. Yeah, I was telling him outside the game. He asked how far the Bandit Fortress and the Alderheart was, and it's about 14 miles, 7 miles a day of walking. Yada yada. We won't be that specific, but Alderheart and the Bandit Fortress are in range.
So Q is going to speak a message to this squirrel. You are in danger. Bandits are coming. Find Virgil. Take shelter. I will be there soon. Q.
No, that was only 16.
Okay, perfect. That's great. And then he'll tell the squirrel the location is the merchant district of Alderheart. The description of the person, the recipient, is a hedge woman, albino white with black tipped quills. Good luck. And he sends the squirrel away.
Yeah, it gives you a salute and squeakity squeakins and goes away.
Squeaky squeak.
Yeah, and it jumps between the branches, and as it enters the mist, you can see it like cringe a little bit and speed up.
Such a brave squirrel.
Oh, can I use Vigilant Blessing on the squirrel?
What is that?
It gives it advantage on initiatives. So it can run really fast.
Sure, you can do
It
that.
lasts until I cast it on something else. So
Protect the
Go,
squirrel.
That's funny. Yeah, sure, why not?
That's hilarious.
You see an aura of protection,
Squeak, squeak,
and it
squeak, squeak.
like it's a flying squirrel, and it like glides between and like jumps up the branches and then does another glide and leaves your field of view, and then silence.
Q will close his eyes and protect her, and he's going to retire to his tent.
Thistlefoot passes the campfire. He stops and stares into the fire and the memories of the great fire that took his village and changed his life forever. As he's looking at the fire, his singed ear begins to warm, and the memories come flooding back to him. And he looks into the fire. I'm sorry.
The night grows dark, and the light situation doesn't change within the forest as it had before when you were inside. You are all able to mark a long rest,
Okay.
but upon sleeping, Q, you are awoken briefly and see the image of that faint silhouette of the spirit. You're able to see more than the others as you're not like inside of a tent, and you wake up and see a faint light that sends a glow into your eyes, and as you open and see in the distance a vigilant patrolling light watching over you as you sleep, walking around the radius of where your mist surrounds you. And you guys wake up fully rested.
Just for flavor, like usual, Thistlefoot is first awake, has coffee brewed and ready for his friends, and he's going through his what we would consider Tai Chi, his
Morning
own
routine.
version,
Yeah.
morning routine.
Q cracks his neck.
That darkness is still there. There's a faint light that peeks through, but the mist is at the same radius as it was before. And as you make your way, let me ask you this, for brevity's sake. Is there any conversations or things that you guys are going to have along the way, or things that you would like to check on or experiment with, like the feather, or any other questions you might have to roll checks for, to discover or think about before we get there?
Thistlefoot, like always, in the rear is just keeping watch.
Roll me a perception check and hold on to that number for me for later.
I'm going to approach Q. Hey, I know that you've been a little down. So, oatmeal cookie or blueberry?
You made cookies?
Oatmeal. Duh.
Here you go.
Thanks. Someone important to me used to make oatmeal cookies. And I want you to know that this means a lot for more reasons than you might think. He's going to kind of pull Thistlefoot into the bandits are pursuing someone. Evelyn is her name. They're threatening me with her life. She is the sister of my spouse who has left this world.
I see.
There is no one on this earth who I would protect more than Evelyn. I've taken precautions to make sure that she's okay. But it is crucial that we break this coalition from its core before anything happens. They took Eden, my spouse, from me. They will not take anyone else. I will die on that hill.
I understand. And I will be right there next to you to help in any way I can.
Thank you. Both of you.
Thistlefoot gives Q a little hug.
Careful for the quills. They're sharp.
Yeah.
That might hurt if you touch them. Just be careful.
His arms are small. They probably go in between the quills.
There's a lot. Q, kind of like a dwarf. Like he kind of dwarfs you a little bit. So he pulls you in with one arm, and he pulls Penny in with one arm, and he's like, "You guys are the best."
You're the best. I'm glad I found you guys.
Q, can you roll me a persuasion check for me?
19.
Okay.
That's really ominous, Mark.
Yeah.
That's really ominous. I don't like that. But it's 19, so it better work.
That's great.
Spooky.
That's good.
Okay.
There was time when I wasn't a monk, believe it or not. In fact, just a normal little mouse folk who loved playing out in the fields and getting into all sort of mischief. My village was on the outskirts of the western forest, and as we know, the great fires slowly move and creep and destroy. One night we went to bed. In the middle of the night we were awoken to the town bell ringing to alert, and waking to the smell of smoke and burning and ash. We tried to put the fires out and save what we could, but the fires, they devoured quickly. For as slow as they creep, they devour quickly. My village and all those who were in it were unable to escape. My mother put me into a underground burrow that we had under our house to protect me. And after some time, and after the screamings stopped, there was silence, and I came out of the burrow and nothing was left except ash. It was 3 days later that a kind elderly monk who had come to see the devastation of the village and to see if there was anyone left to save found me and took me to the Whispering Pines monastery, and it's where I was trained.
I'm so sorry all of that happened to you. To both of you, I'm so sorry all of that happened. Thistlefoot, blueberry or oatmeal cookie.
Thistlefoot reaches for the blueberry.
There you are. I feel like
and
whenever
begins
we feel a
nibbling.
little low, I feel like a little treat helps sometimes.
Well, as my master taught me, fire destroys, but it also creates life and brings life.
I like that.
You know, the soil's most fertile after a burn.
Oh, by the way, my perception check that you had,
please.
it was 15, but my passive perception is better at 16.
It's okay. It's an active thing because you said you're actively looking.
Yeah.
Right.
You guys exited the forest hours ago, 6 hours ago. You've treaded plains into rocky terrain. The hills grow, the mountainside is before you. And the stream, you found it and followed the stream upwards. The Crest River leads you to the base of the mountains. And there is still the tracks that you're following. And as you follow them, and with your perception, you are able to track these bandits, and they are seeming to follow the riverside, and they lead into a tunnel at the base of the mountain. So the river runs to your right, rocky, pebbled terrain, and you can see the mountains before you, reaching hundreds and hundreds of feet into the clouds. And they angle around the north and start to bend towards the west, to the northern point of the Humblewood. And there is a singular small alcove that you can see before you. It does not go very deep. The light of the sun, fading in the west, reaches inside this cave, and you can see the backside of it. An empty hollow. You can tell the steps lead in because they're fresh. And there's a stone wall.
Stone wall.
Yep. You can see the last final step is about 6 feet before, or not 6 feet, but like a foot or two before the stone wall, and then the tracks stop.
Is there any sign of guard posts or anything outside this?
So
stone
that, roll an investigation or investigation check for me.
Investigation?
Yes, because you're looking into something that you can already see.
You sure you don't want to do perception?
So you could do perception, but that's not what you're asking to do right now. Investigating is things you can see already and looking into them. Perception is seeing things you can't see. That makes sense.
11.
It just looks like the steps stop before this rough stone wall before you. There's pebbled ground until the entrance, and then rocky floor as you get inside, and the echoes of your steps go inside. It's a little bit darker, but the sun from the west kind of peeks in from the west and lights up a little bit of the cave for now, for the next, hour. It is about 6:30, so the sun is setting and the light is about to go out, which is fine for you, but your two companions can't see in the dark.
I'm gonna go up to closer to the wall. Moonlit embers.
As soon as you say that, the stone wall begins to slide over.
I told you guys that'd be important.
It is the secret password to the entrance to this fortress. The stone slab slides out. You can see the engravings in the ground where the scratches of this wall open up. And on the inner portion of what this door would be is magical runes. And it is a trigger word. And those of you that are magical, which I guess is just Q, can read in runes that it says Moonlit Embers. And that is the trigger word to open the door.
Q gives a little
Opens.
silent fist bump. Penny.
You can see single torches every 10 or 20 feet along the wall. And you can see the continuation of the footsteps.
Adding on to the fist bump, Thistlefoot uses his tail for the fist bump.
I knew I needed to try it somewhere. I just wasn't sure where.
Would you like me to check ahead for us? I can kind of be a little unseen.
Is it dark in there?
There's torches every 10
Oh,
feet.
that's right.
So it is lit.
Oh, okay.
And it seems to be maintained. And you do see the footsteps of the bandits. It looks to be, like maybe half a dozen people.
Okay.
It's hard to tell with the traffic. This seems well traveled inside.
How can I tell how deep the cave goes? Like how?
You cannot see it. It is curving, so
it's
you can't see the
curving.
end. Yeah.
Okay. Thistlefoot, if you want to make your way in, you think you're the most silent of the three of us? We'll follow behind at a distance.
I'd like to scout ahead and try to stay along the wall and be conscious of the shadowy areas and just be quiet as a mouse.
Yes. Roll a stealth check for me.
17, 22.
Wow.
Ain't nobody heard that mouse.
You guys
Stealthy
see him disappear ahead around one of the corners. Thistlefoot. You see, after going about 80, 90 feet, the cave open up into a canyon. And as the sunlight illuminates where you're at, you see a fortress. No gate, no entrance. The stone wall was the entrance with the magical code that you had to speak to get into. There's a courtyard in front of you that has a singular gate at the end of the courtyard that is closed. And to the left and right, there are troughs for horses that are empty on your left side. And on the right, you see anvils or workspaces, and you also see watchtower that looks over the entrance. And I'm going to need you to roll a perception check for me.
16.
Right now, a glint of the remainder of the sunlight, the last of the sunlight for the evening, glints off of the armor of a metallic armor peeking through a arrow slit on that watchtower. Peeking around the corner of the exit to this tunnel into the courtyard, you can see through that arrow slit on the right side, there is someone manning the watchtower right now, and they are actively watching the opening to this area. It looks like it's a well-worked and traveled area, but no one is in the opening right now.
Okay. Thistlefoot gets even lower to the ground. He's going to wait about 10 minutes or so and just watch. Watch this fort. See any type of movement, if anything happens within 10 minutes, but he's as low as he can get.
About halfway through waiting that 10 minutes, so about 5 minutes in, the doors open. And you see a hawk folk and a bird folk exit the door to the north, close the doors, and they're wearing just regular cloth clothes, and they have a tool belt on, and they walk to the right side, and you see them begin to grab things off the workbench. They ignite the smithy that is still faintly glowing, and it looks like they just start their shift. The smithy ignites, and you hear tings of metal. You see them grabbing leathers, and it looks like they're crafting things for saddles. And if you watch for a little bit, they're just working on their profession.
Okay. So he sees the smithies working such. He looks back at the tower at that arrow slit where he saw that armor. Is there any more movement? See anybody going to the top of this?
You cannot see it like fully inside, so you can't see whoever it is.
Yeah,
you can see the glint of light, at least in that 5-10 minutes.
I'm wanting to get an idea of any type of like patrolling.
So all you've seen is those two people coming.
Okay. But it doesn't seem like there's people like walking around the walls or like walking around. It's just those two had come out to the smithy.
Yeah. The upper stories are closed off. There are slits, but the only one you see is the one that views over the opening to the courtyard.
Okay. Yeah. And it's like in this cavern, you said?
Yeah. So think the sky is visible if you peek out from the opening to the cave. And this opening in the rock. It's like those Native American cities that are built into or like villages and things that are built into the outskirts of walls and stuff.
Yeah.
It goes up. So there's walls they've made, but they're built into the innards of it.
So we have three things. We have the fortress that's there. To one side, we have a blacksmith area.
Yeah, to the right. Mm-hmm.
To the right, and then on the other side, to the left, we have the horse stables.
Yeah, looks like stables, but they're empty.
Yeah, empty. And the rest of it's just this rocky, canyonous area.
Yeah. And a doorway directly ahead of you to the north that was open and closed, and you saw a set of stairs that leads upwards to the next level.
Okay.
Q is slinking behind Thistlefoot. You said it's kind of like a windy tunnel.
Yeah,
so
it serpentines through the tunnels for about 90 feet, I think is what I said.
I'm guessing Penny is
I'll
following it
stick
the same
with you
way.
because
Okay.
I figure I'm kind of nervous because I'm like, it's been a while.
It's been like 5 minutes.
So
Yeah.
Thistlefoot.
I'm right behind him. The most recent curve that he went around, Q is stationing himself behind that curve.
Okay.
And he goes, Thistlefoot, hey.
slowly, quietly puts up his tail singly, almost as if like a stop hand. He's going to continue to watch for like another 10 minutes.
The smiths keep working, and you see the reflection of armor through the slit one more time. So you can tell there's actively someone, shadows moving in between that slit, watching over the courtyard. What was it was a 15, right? Is what you
No, it was 16.
16? You can hear one of the blacksmiths, the hawk folk. He is hitting a hammer and forming something, and you can hear him saying, "Is it still gonna happen tonight? Are we doing it tonight?" And it's broken up, but you can kind of put together what they're conversating about. And the other one says, "Yeah, I think so. We are. Are we going for the second level or the third first?"
The Thistlefoot takes his eyes off of the fortress. His ears kind of turn towards the soft conversation that he just heard. Are the smiths in chains? Does it look like they're like chained together, like as if they're like
No, they're
prisoners?
not. No. But
Can I do
you
an
can
insight check from this far away to see kind of like what their like outer body language is?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
15.
15. Okay. When you're looking at the way that they're talking to each other, they're still working. They do not take pause at all to speak. This is, they're hitting their hammers. They're blowing the big, what are those things called where the fans into the furnace?
Yeah.
And they look like they're just trying to have a natural-ish conversation as they work, to not pull attention as they do that. And they are not here to be here on purpose. That you can tell, these look like the craftsmen that were taken.
That's
Like,
what,
you don't know them
that's what
personally, but you're getting
Thistlefoot-
the vibe. These are not bandits. They're not wearing.
That's what
the-
Thistlefoot was trying
yeah,
to
absolutely
determine.
They're not wearing the vixen symbol of the fox on their garb. They're wearing simple open clothes. They are covered in dirt and ash. They are workers. They are basically slaves for whatever this is.
How far is it from the cave, from the entrance where I'm kind of hiding at and observing from?
Like 30 feet. I will say, if you're trying to talk to them, you know that you risk
Yeah.
the guard hearing you.
Yeah, no, Thistlefoot
It's
isn't
about the
thinking,
same distance diagonally to the arrow slit.
how dark is it lit to a sneaky path towards the forge?
So I said it's sunsetting. The light is going away, coming in from the west. The doors to the north. It is disappearing quickly. So only a fragment of light is hitting basically diagonally down towards where that arrow slit is. So the courtyard is pretty obscured in shadow. So you could keep that stealth check you had and attempt to go over there, hoping that the guard post doesn't roll high enough to see you.
Is going to look.
I don't know. He's not telling us
Thistlefoot.
anything.
Thistlefoot is going to slowly look over his shoulder, look at Q, take his hand, and take his 2 paws and put up like the stop motion. And then he is going to give a walking symbol with his other hand.
2 fingers. Okay.
2 fingers.
He
And
is visibly distressed by this. He's like,
Thistlefoot has put up the stop thing.
Yeah, but
Okay,
you
so
said
he points
stop,
to
but
you.
then you're doing a walk, and then
Well,
you do a quiet, and then I'm like,
point-
okay, so does that mean
He
we
points
go?
to himself.
Okay.
There you
He
go.
points to himself. At the end of it, then he quiet as a mouse,
Okay.
make his way over to the smithery and avoid that detection.
Okay. As you take your steps into the courtyard, silently, each step on the rocky stone, you're in the open now, taking each step. And as you look up, you see the reflection of the armor in the arrow slit. But you make it past, and you slip under the edge of the first floor into the alcove. Still unseen. They don't seem to notice you. They're still looking toward each other, chatting. You were able to slip kind of beside one of the work tables, and both of them go over to the kiln and reignite the flame, and one of them sticks a metal rod inside of the fire, heating up that metal, pulling it out, and you hear the ting.
I'm going to brush his leg, and then I'm going to have a silent thing to my mouth.
I want you to roll a d20. This is like a pure luck check if he screams out in panic or if he sees and assesses the situation well enough.
I'm so stressed out.
Okay. Give me just a minute.
And we're just sitting
Yeah,
here.
and for the two of you around the corner, you can see what's happening in anxiety.
Wait,
as-
did they come up to the corner now and watching?
The corner
Oh, okay.
before, about 60 feet away, they can see what you're doing, and they're just like biting their nails in anxiety, waiting to see what
Sitting on
happens.
my hammer.
what is he
waiting.
doing? What is he doing?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
I'm going to use. It's a 2, but I'm going to use my inspiration.
Okay. Re-roll it and take it.
Rerolled it.
Better get a good
Zero.
roll.
Please add a 0. Please to the
Oh
front,
my gosh,
back.
bro. You're stressing me out here. My scales are going crazy.
16.
Oh my god.
Your tail brushes the leg of the Hawkfolk blacksmith. They quickly jolt their head towards you, and you can see the look of confusion in their eyes, but they're silent. And they're just looking at you, waiting for a response.
I'm going to quietly say, Gundrick sends his regards.
You can see now that you're up close, you can see brown feathers, muscular arms, dirty shirt and pants, and the hammer in his hand, and he just gives you a small nod.
I'm going to point at myself, and I'm going to gesture towards the cave opening, and I'm going to put up the number 2.
Stop looking.
You can see one of his eyebrows furrows in confusion. It doesn't seem like he knows what's going on.
He's like,
basically.
what?
What's going on? You're from Brackenmill.
He nods.
We're here to help.
What do we do?
Business.
Are you here to save us?
I give a small nod. Keep it business as usual.
They're upstairs watching.
I can see that. You said something about tonight.
A lot of the forces that were here have left, and our numbers are close to equal of what remains here. And some of us are gathered, and we're gonna try to escape.
I have 2 other companions with me. We're here to help you, to get you home, to help you rebuild, and to take down these bandits. We will help you. Tonight? What time?
When the sun sets. It is probably within the next 20 to 30 minutes, and he leans in, and you can still hear him hitting. It's not purposeful. It's just to caw sound now.
Yeah.
And he's hitting just a piece of he's hitting the anvil at this point.
Yeah.
He's leaning over. We plan to attack the third floor. That's where General is. General Krall. He's dangerous. And he has someone with him that's capable. There's still a number of bandits here. But we think we can outdo them if we have the element of surprise, which we do. Right now, we're making preparations for the assault on Alderheart, but we can take them down and warn the city if we're quick.
Okay. We will help you. Let me go back and let my companions know we will help you. We will get you back home. We will take down this coalition. He gives a warm, comforting smile and nod. And
he nods back at you.
Thistlefoot then tries to sneak back, now with more purpose because he knows that the sun is almost setting. He wants to get back to Q and Penny. Okay.
You were dead. You were gone for so long.
I'm okay. I'm alive. It's okay.
Couldn't see anything. I was just waiting behind
It's okay.
Sir Hedge here because
It's
he's
okay.
taller than me, and I didn't know what was going on.
I'm down
It's
for
okay.
sure.
It's Thistlefoot looks at Penny, gives her a reassuring, warm smile, and just says, "Trust me. Just trust me."
It's hard for me to trust.
And
You lied to me. Our first day we met.
True.
I can't always trust you. No more blueberries for you. At least for a day.
there's going to be an uprising. There's going to be a revolt. There were two Smitheries, I'm guessing, friends of Gundrix. When I was hiding over there, that's why I put up my tail to tell you be quiet or show you I'm okay. I heard them over talking that there's going to be uprising soon, as soon as the sun goes down. So, like in the next couple of minutes, stuff is going to start going down, and will be probably the best opportunity that we'll have to get the villagers back safe and to deal a devastating blow, if not the blow, to this coalition. I think we're not going to get an opportunity like this.
Okay, so what are we waiting for? Let's go.
For the sun to set.
Oh.
And no offense, Penny, you're strong, but you're kind of loud.
Yeah, Penny, you're kind of loud.
And you're kind of a liar.
That's okay.
Ooh.
We're all a little something.
Q is a little uncomfortable in between
It's
these
like-
two, so he's gonna step back.
Thistlefoot looks no way offended. That's okay. We're all a little something. Q, I know that you've got stuff going on, and I know you of everyone wants to end this coalition. But I need you here. We're going to need you here if we're going to do this smartly, and if we're going to take this weed out forever so it doesn't grow in this garden again.
Okay. I'm trusting you.
They did say that the third floor is going to be the main target, a General Krall who they're going to be attacking, and they seemed also really worried. Well, I wouldn't say worried, but there's someone else here as well that sounds like they're also powerful and going to be a problem. So it sounds like that we've got two big bads. I know that we're just us, but I think jumping on this opportunity will help with the lack of ability that we might have at this moment.
I think
enough.
we have a choice.
I agree. Penny, what do you think?
I think we just wait until everything starts. And then we can help them out.
Okay. Thistlefoot then grabs Penny's hands, both hands, paws and
I have very
claw.
large claws.
I was just to say paws and claw and claw. looks you directly in the face. I'm sorry that I wasn't upfront and honest about the bracelet and the child, but you are an amazing fighter and you're an amazing person, and I'm glad that you are here. You're strong, you're mighty, you're powerful, and we can really use your help. So I'm sorry for the deception. I won't deceive you anymore. Please trust me on that.
I appreciate that, and I do forgive you, but just know I don't like liars at all, no matter how small the lie is.
Understood.
As you say that, you see the sun disappear, and you can hear a large amount of movement starting to echo through the windows and the slits opening, and battle has begun.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I need all of you to roll initiative, and we won't pop off until you guys enter the fight, but just so we can get ahead of it.
Finally.
Roll good.
16.
Hey!
Before everything pops off.
So 4. We switched places.
It's not a 4. It's a nat 1, bro.
7.
Well, for a
7.
total of 4.
Yeah, that one's always less. Sorry.
Nat 1's a 1.
Yeah.
I trip and fall flat on my face. I trip over my tail.
The initial thing that you hear is a clatter of metal and a crash, and you hear someone screaming in pain, and you hear like raws of battle cries start, and clattering of armor and weapons begin to happen, and you hear a couple spells go off, echoing from inside exiting the windows, and as they shatter out from the second floor.
Q is gonna use Eyes of Night. This is a special blessing from Titan, part of the Twilight Cleric domain, that allows him to give dark vision to up to 3 willing creatures
There you go. Okay.
within 10 feet of me for an hour. So once I give it to you, you don't have to be within 10 feet of me,
Okay.
but it's going to give you guys dark vision for 1 hour.
I can see.
I can fight.
So now you all have dark vision out to a range of 300 feet.
Sweet.
Long range dark vision. It's going to be spooky in here.
Okay.
Whoopee.
Into the fray.
Into the fray.
Let's go. And takes off.
I'm following following Thistlefoot.
All right.
Following along.
Okay. As you all three enter the opening, light is gone. You can see gifted light from Q's vision as the ethereal magic has boosted your ability to see. You can now clearly see Thistlefoot through that arrow slit. There's no longer a glint of armor. There's no movement behind. You can assume that they're probably engaged in combat upstairs because they were on the second floor, and you can audibly hear grunts of pain, combat, clings of armor, spells going off. There is a massive fight happening on the second floor. What do you guys do? There's nobody on the first floor anymore. The smiths are gone.
Is the gate open?
Yes, the gate's open. You can see a set of stairs that lead up, but you can't see the top half, so you don't know what the second floor looks like. You just see it.
Q's gonna go through the gate as far as he can get.
Okay.
Yep, let's go. Let's go. Follows up.
I agree. I'll follow.
Okay, you guys clamber up the stairs, and a combat ensues. You see many people in rags, but with swords and spells going off, but guards combating them. It is like a small war happening on the second floor. A spell shoots over your head as you top the stairs. Thistlefoot, you duck out of the way, and a large blade sweeps across as you almost exit the top of the stairs, Q, and 2 of the workers and the bandits attack, and you see the smith, the hawkfolk, boom, bring down a big mallet, ignite, like still hot from the flames beneath from the forge, knocking out this bandit in front of you, and he gives you a little nod. As you guys all enter the stairs, there's mass combat happening on the second level. What I will say is, you guys can choose to assist here, or you can go to the third level. What that means as far as the story goes is that you can... This is a moral choice that you guys can make now. Because we're doing a short campaign, I'll give you these choices every now and again. You can either help the second floor by attacking some of the people and saving lives, or you can go to the third floor and help the overall threat. So there are some stipulations with either one that you do not know. But putting that before you, are you going to help the few that are with you now, or potentially whatever is happening on the other floor that you do not know of yet?
Thistlefoot, and wanting to try to help as many people as possible, as much as he wants to help the people here who are amongst their battle. He also understands that the greater help would be taking the head off of the snake. Thistlefoot looks at Q and Penny and uses his tail to point to the stairs that goes up to the third floor and does like the questioning shrug.
Q acknowledges he's going to chase you up the stairs.
As the two
He's
of them,
going to chase me?
as the two of them head up the stairs, Penny, roll me a perception check.
9.
9. You see your friends running up the stairs, and you see a flicker of light coming from the stairwell. That, yes,
Okay.
There is a bright light, an unnaturally bright light, and you follow them up there. As you crest, all three of you, the steps to the third floor, you're the first one to exit the stairs, Thistlefoot. And what you see on the third floor is a small room, large mat of red, a carpet laid before, lots of tables around the edges, and a single lantern hanging above. And you see a lone figure, cross-legged, back turned to the stairs, meditating. And I want you to roll a history check for me.
15.
They turn their head slightly. I did not think that I would have to face someone from my past so soon. But it seems that is what fate has set before me. And you recognize this voice and the silhouette of this person. And it is one monk from the Whispering Pines Monastery. One that went on their journey years before you. And their name is Dale. A crowfolk who you had looked up to, like many of your elder classmates, respectfully. And they stand up. What are you doing here, child? And they stretch out, and they're very thin, but their robes touch the ground, and a large flickering lantern lights the room. Their golden beak extends and their hood raised, and you can see dull green eyes behind the shadow of the cloak.
I am doing what I must and keeping with the rites and the teachings that you have easily set aside.
Set aside? I have not done such things. We are taught to guide and do help and crush darkness. I'm guiding these folks, these people. I'm helping move along the fate that should be. Corruption has ensued the heart of our origin tree, Alderheart, and I am assisting, as should you. The fire should have taught you that. Do you know why help did not come sooner? It was stifled. Corruption in the council.
Thistlefoot is stopped where he is, and his guard is let down a little bit.
Yeah, he does not seem like he's going to attack you. He just stood from his cross-legged meditation and collapsed his hands behind his back and turned to you respectfully. Will you not aid our teachings, or have you strayed from the path?
You say you want to take on the corruption.
I do.
And help the greater good and to help the people.
Yes, As the weeds grow in the garden, we must prune them. Do you not agree?
You must prune. This is true. But how is destroying villages and enslaving and killing the innocent helping and removing the corruption?
We do not kill the innocent. We take them in like a flock and give them a chance. We do not kill. I am guiding this force, as should you. Will you not aid me in correcting this error?
Just as you are taking on corruption in the way that you see fit and in the light that you want to follow, so I must follow my own light and take on corruption in the way that I see to be best, to help the innocent and those who cannot help themselves.
Do you speak of the light of the fire that destroys but also brings life? You must understand. I do not do this out of hate. Pruning the weeds of those who have killed mercilessly without care.
Just as you have done?
I have done none of this.
You have killed mercilessly.
I have not.
You have killed mercilessly every innocent that your coalition has come across.
This is not true.
You are a liar. Q's eyes are turning black with smoke. You've lied about everything you've said. If you think that you are pruning weeds, you are cutting the flowers, you're burning the vegetables, you have done no good in your mission.
Tell me, when did the light become so bright that it blinded you?
This is not true. I have guided them for a short time. The sins of the past do not taint my suggestion and counsel that they take now. Whatever you speak of.
Your counsel?
I have
Or
joined them.
someone else's?
I have joined them a short time ago. The sins of their past are sins. But they will be consequences after.
How soon?
And you feel your way doesn't have consequences?
Everything has a consequence, good or bad. But I will guide them as well as I can. The corruption of the council is greater than the need of the rebellion. I'm set here for a purpose, and if you hinder that, I must act. I do not want to, but if you force me to, my hand will act.
Tell me, brother, when did you step so far off of the teachings of Master Makarao?
Makarel guided me to this. Are you so green that you do not know why I do this? There is a balance, destruction, and growth. You should know this, or have you forgotten?
I have not. And both of y'all can see that there's more of a tenser stance and radiating anger that is now beginning to formulate off of.
Yeah, I feel like both
Off
of
of
you are
Thistlefoot.
pacing in circles, almost
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
predators ready to attack each other.
Just imagine
You're jabbing at
viewers-
each other.
Just imagine, viewers, if you're Star Wars people or not, just imagine the tense standoff that Obi-Wan and Anakin have as they're circling each other and talking about the corruptions of the Jedi. And instead, this is exactly what's going on.
You should not hinder me. We are correcting the wrong that has been done to the innocent people, your village, your family. Many innocent people have died that should have been alive because of the lack of action quelched by those who seek power. Your very parents, your village, they should be alive. The council hesitated and were silenced.
Thistlefoot stands straight, breathes in a deep breath, centers his being into his chest, and has the warm energy flowing within him to his fist. Then he takes a raised fist stance and doesn't say another word.
Very well. And he unclasps his hands behind his back and takes a wrathful willow stance. One hand above, behind, and one straight forward in a fist. And you see a clawed, misty, three-pronged claw appear in front of you. Quickly appear in front of you with that stance and strike from the hand behind. Thrust forward and attack. 22 to hit. You are going to take 6 bludgeoning hit points as his fist hits your midsection. You immediately feel that force. It is not bludgeoning damage. An ethereal force behind it pushes through, almost enhancing that impact, and it throws you off guard. You see the talon whip around and come for you, and he critical hits you.
Okay. Bring it.
That is 12 hit points. You see this ethereal talon strike once from behind you. Out of surprise, you're not prepared as these three claws rake through your back as they stick out from his punch that arches your back. 13 to hit?
No, does not hit. I'm going to use my strong defensive oaken stance to use my forearm to bat away his talon as he tries to strike again.
Yeah, you are. This is something that you were not trained in. Whatever he is doing is not based on your training. Mm-hmm. His form for him is, but there's something unnatural that is assisting him in his combat. And after his fist retracts, he takes his stance again.
Yeah, based off of his fighting style and kind of seeing that this was not his typical fighting stance, that I'm very accustomed to sparring with him for years and going through the same teachings. And
with your passive insight, he is not acting any differently. Something is helping him, but it's not like a demon or some sort of thing.
Okay.
It seems like he has acquired some sort of ability or possession that gives him aid. You see a ring on his right hand on his middle finger that has wings on it, and it is glowing right now. And you can see it as it's slashed from behind you. It lit up. Q's turn.
Q's angry.
Right.
He's not happy.
Sure.
I don't know why. Sorry.
I want to try something. You can tell me if it works.
Okay.
What weapon does Thistlefoot use? Staff?
Yeah, staff.
Bow staff, yeah.
Yeah, bow staff.
So I have an idea. I want to cast Spiritual Weapon in the form of a staff and try to level the playing field if Thistlefoot can hold it.
Dale seems focused solely on you. This feels like we're fighting, not the party is fighting. And as you regain your composure and take your oak stance, you see a bow staff that looks like a perfect resemblance of yours appear next to you, and your hand just grabs it, and I will allow you to take an extra attack on your turn. Are you guys going to be, I guess you're the first up. Are you, Q, going to be interfering with this? This looks like a one-on-one thing, but you're more than welcome to just like cut it out right now.
Maybe this can help as this weapon appears before me. I'm going to take it and I'm going to slam the butt of it on the ground and just have eyes locked within at Dale, and it's going to look like all of a sudden this small little mouse is a giant.
So the staff, it replicates your normal staff. Has some inscriptions on it. The one that you see prominently when you hold it is everything grows. Q kind of gives you a nod. He understands the 1v1 me bro moment. Q is not afraid to brutalize this crow if he's aligning himself with the bandits. But this, just like Q understands that there's things that he has to do. This seems deeply personal for Thistlefoot, and he wants to respect that. He's not going to let Thistlefoot go down without a fight, but I'm focusing more on giving you the advantage. So that's a bonus action. I'm also going to try to Fairy Fire our buddy. He has to succeed a dexterity saving throw, or he will be outlined in that color. If he's outlined in that color, he cannot benefit from being invisible, and he also, any attacks against him have advantage.
That is 23.
Oh, okay.
That's
fine.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Now everything's purple.
He is.
So I've essentially just created a cube arena for you.
Picture the fall of cherry blossom leaves, how they all dance around together as they fall down.
Penny, it is your turn. Do not let what they're doing,
I know.
hesitating,
I had
cause
an
you not to do
idea, but I
anything.
think the purple light may have actually messed that up.
Okay.
You said there was a lantern.
Yeah, there is a single lone lantern just floating, lighting this second floor.
Because we have dark vision now.
Yes, you do.
I don't know if the crow does.
Do we need a retcon backwards?
So I was.
What?
Fairy Fire is a concentration spell.
Oh, but
Wait,
you
what?
can't
So
use.
a spiritual weapon.
Yeah, so you can't do both.
I will let. We'll kind of roll it back a little bit. Would you have done that?
Would I have?
Would you have canceled that and done?
I would not have
spiritual?
canceled the spiritual weapon. No.
Okay, so you're removing the dark vision to give the spiritual weapon.
No,
What- no,
no.
the
The
spir-
Fairy Fire. Dark Vision is not a concentration. That's, you guys get that for an hour. It's the Fairy Fire that I cast.
Yeah. Sorry. Are you? Which one are you picking?
The spiritual weapon.
Okay.
So
Are
we'll
you
just
gonna do
edit
anything?
that whole thing out.
Yes.
It's funny to keep
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't happen.
For his action instead, Q is going to move around the room and look for any kind of paperwork, journals, investigate anything he can find related to what's going on right now.
Sure.
This was having his
Go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
I say investigate. Stop saying.
No. That's what it would be.
And
10. Okay. So on the tables there, it's just a lot of documents, plans for supplies, things like that. Something that does stick out to you, even with a 10, designs for trebuchets and siege weapons that would be crafted by such smithies and craftsmen that were taken from Penny. What are you doing?
I am going to use my new short bow, and I'm going to aim at the lantern and see if I can knock it down or snuff it out or something. That way it's darkness, but the three of us could still see. I don't know if the crow could see, but it's worth a shot.
Okay. Roll the hit for me. See if you can hit the lantern.
Nat 20, boy!
You shoot the wick
This
out.
is so cinematic. The fight starts. The first hit is thrown. A bow staff appears next to you. You take the hit, and then Penny takes the new bow, hits the bow. I'm so sorry. I spit everywhere. Hits the lantern. The light gets shattered. The glass shatters. The light goes out as the lantern falls, hits the floor, and it is pure darkness. But all three of you can see. It is your turn, Thistlefoot.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. Thistlefoot takes the spiritual bow staff, and he goes and tries to strike the midsection. 10.
10.
Yes,
Okay.
10.
All right. 10 does not hit.
Okay. He's going to take the motion of the staff getting knocked down and plant the staff butt on the ground, and then use it to turn and try to do a double kick. Do a
Flurry of blows.
To do a fury.
All right,
yeah, flurry
roll
of
the
blows.
hit. Love it. Monk versus monk.
Come on. 7.
Okay. The first kick flies by his head as he easily dodges out of the way.
And then going to rotate hips to bring heel down. 13? 13? Maybe?
He weaves both ways and dodges both attacks.
You
You've
can
lost
see?
your connection.
Oof.
Oh,
Ouch.
You
yeah.
can see in the darkness, this crow.
He-
Damn it.
Yeah, you would normally this gives you the knowledge that he can see. As he
rip shot,
easily dodges out of the way, you would normally get advantage in the darkness. He can see. There is a glow around his eyes, and that
Sweet.
talon behind you is slightly glowing. He's going to give you a hit. 12 does not hit you, I'm supposing.
Nope, does
Okay.
not. I'm going to use my staff to knock his talon to the side.
The talon comes in, you whip the staff around, the talon butts away, almost like disintegrates for a second, and then reforms, and then you see his fist come in. He gets a 26 and hits you. I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw. He hits you in the chest.
I knew as soon as you said con save, I knew what was coming.
You can do it too.
Well, not yet. I can't. Not yet.
Well, he can do it.
Con save.
Con save, yes. What?
14.
His fist hits you, and you feel that like reverberation. Your calmness is disrupted by a reverberance that is sent out from your chest,
Oh no.
and you are stunned.
Yep. Yep.
You freeze as he freezes you from that stunning strike, and he does he flips around, and the back of his heel comes around towards your head, and he does have advantage to hit you now.
Because I'm stunned.
You are stunned, which would also mean he gets a crit if he hits you. Sorry.
That's fine.
Well, he might miss this. That's a 10 to hit.
No.
Okay.
How do you miss a stunned person?
Well, he didn't get. Hold on. He didn't roll it with advantage.
Oh.
You rolled in that one on the next one. Oh my God. You bend like in as he hits your chest, and his foot whiffs over you as you're stunned for that moment. And somehow, through blessing or luck, you have survived this critical hit that would have gone to your face. And he misses. Wow. This is Q's turn now.
I guess he can't see as good as he thinks.
Yeah, right? He's relying too much on his non-natural abilities.
Is stunned its own mechanically? Like, is it its own thing? Or is it paralyzed? Are they the same thing?
It's kind of the same thing. It's just like the next attack means it's got advantage and will be a crit kind of thing. With the new rules, at least, Stunning Strike. So for the updated thing, on the start of my next turn is when it goes away. So for now, you see bent over State trying to catch his breath. He just got winded by the punch that hit him in the chest. He got the wind knocked out of him.
Seeing his friend take a blow to the chest that incapacitates him, Q has some flashbacks, some memories, and he is going to cast Thaumaturgy, and he'll use 3 effects.
Oh.
First, he'll use Altered Eyes. His eyes will turn completely black. You'll see smoke coming off of his eyes. This will last for a minute. He will also cast simultaneously with Thaumaturgy Phantom Sound, which allows him to make some ominous whispers around a point of his choice.
Okay.
And his third effect will be Booming Voice, which will cause his voice to be 3 times louder. You think you command the shadow? You think I believe the shadow to be blind? My God commands the shadow. And he's going to try to intimidate Dale into surrendering.
Give me an intimidation check.
I have advantage, and it will roll on charisma because of booming voice.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
15.
Like he needs to roll something.
18. I misread it.
The whispers emanate around all of you. The darkness comes out from around Q's eyes. You feel the anger and oppression from behind you, Thistlefoot, as your friend and acquaintance speaks out, interfering with your fight. And you see it stifle Dale. And he reflexively pulls up his arms next to himself and acts defensively and backs away. We'll kind of rule this as like frightened for a moment. Yeah. So he will take his action to move away from. So if you would like to, Thistlefoot, you can take an attack of opportunity if you like, but that will potentially let him save again to break the fear. Not that you know that or not, but will you attack him as he retreats?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he jolts away out of reaction.
17.
Okay. That is a miss. He bends backwards as the bow swings overhead, and he dodges away and retreats towards the door. And as the round resets from the alert of sound that you echoed out with your thaumaturgy, the door bursts open, and you see a large raccoon, scars across his chest, bandolier of weapons around his waist. And an ashen sword and foam exiting his mouth. The door almost folds as he shunts it open and cracks against the wall. He looks feral for blood. He's excited and exhilarated.
Q, with still all the effects happening, turns his head and he's going to match the energy.
Mm-hmm.
He's
give a hedgehog growl.
Blood.
Okay.
He's snarling. I don't know if hedgehogs kind of snarl a little bit.
I usually hate doing this, but I feel like this is when, as the door slams and like splinters against the wall, the sword in his hand ignites, and you see a similar mist to what was in that forest begin to show images for all of you of the things that you fear and your weaknesses flash before your eyes. And that's where we'll end the episode. No! As General Krall enters the battlefield.
Until the
we
next...
beat this guy's ass 2 levels ago. We're fine.
Until the next Twilight.
Hey Night Owls, thanks for listening to this episode of Tales at Twilight. Mark is our DM, Becca is Penny, Matt is Thistlefoot, and Q is played by myself, Darwin. Our cover art is done by Seba Huidobono, and our theme by Jeremy. Links to their work are available in the show notes below. Do us a solid by leaving us a review on whatever podcast platform you listen on. Tell your friends, post it on socials, you know the drill. Our next episode will be released in 2 weeks, so stay tuned until the next Twilight.